Hey everybody, thanks for continuing the topic of antitrust laws. And as we continue in a second video, we got some good comments from the first one, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And so this video at the end, hopefully you can answer the question of, does the government interfere or intervene into the market on the behalf of the consumer? The government looked at as a third party, because as it is, the market is a place between the consumer and the person that's in business trying to make money. So today we're going to be talking about big business. And so when I say big business, I want in your mind to think of someone like a Walmart, a Target, or a Kroger, or perhaps Lowe's or Home Depot. Just some big entity that's in business that has hundreds of employees and has big stores with lots of product. And then we'll be also talking about small businesses. And when I talk about a small business, I talk about an Ace Hardware. In fact, that's a little larger than I want to have the scope today. Think of a convenience store that sells gas, but that's not their commodity. They want you to come in and purchase items, grocery items, where maybe they're a little out into the suburban area and they are trying to cater to the people that live out further or whatnot. But think about these smaller grocery stores, what I call the mom and pop stores, the stores that they don't buy in bulk because they can't. They don't know how much they're going to sell or how much they need. Some of these items are perishable, okay, and so you can't buy in bulk. So today we're going to be focused on big business versus small business. And then the third party will be the government. And do they intervene or do they interfere in the market? And when we say interfere, what we mean is us as the consumer. We have money in our pocket and we want to go spend it. And we want to buy the cheapest product out there and the highest quality, okay? And does big business give us that? Or does the small business give us that? Also, there's that fear that if the big business runs the smaller business out of business, then that big business can hike their prices up, even though the history doesn't support that. Not yet. There could be future cases. That's something that I would love for you to comment on. The people that commented before, on the first video, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's get started without further ado. Let's talk about the market and antitrust laws. All right, so today the one question I want to look at and get you guys to comment on, and remember guys, I don't have the answers. I'm not trying to shift or change your opinion. I'm still looking at this as being open-minded. And that is it discriminatory against the small businesses and unfair practices for the suppliers to give big business a discount? In society and in court proceedings, the prosecuting attorney for the government and these antitrust lawsuits like to use the term forced, that the big business are forcing the suppliers to give them a discount, and that they have too much power when it comes to prices. And so let's look at those terms for a minute. Can a big business really force a supplier? Now keep in mind, the supplier, I described the big business to you like Walmart, Target, and Kroger, and Lowe's. But the supplier is the one that takes the raw product and manufactures it into a product. Let's look at Morton Salt, okay? It's processed salt, and then they supply it to the people that want to buy it. Let's look at Borden, the dairy products, the milk products, and let's look at Standard Oil as far as providing oil to the big companies like Chevron or Exxon and whatnot. Today we're looking at what is best for the consumer. So, you've got the supplier, you've got the big business, and you've got the small business, okay? So, why do suppliers give a discounted rate? Well, probably because it saves them money. How does it save them money? Let's look at it for a minute. If you're a supplier and you are manufacturing, that means you're taking a product okay, a raw product, and you are turning it into something that can be sold. That means you have workers and you have a plant, okay? Those workers are there because you pay them a salary that they agree upon, okay, that's advantageous to them, and you're also promising them a 40-hour week. If you can have shipments, predictable orders that come in ahead of time, then you can plan accordingly if you were the manager of the plant. You can almost guarantee that everybody will get their 40 hours a week and you can pay them the salary they're happy with. So when you get orders in bulk, then it saves money. And when you save money, you're supposed to trickle that down into and sometimes you can trickle that down by giving good workers that are productive a raise. And you can also trickle down by maybe giving discounts to the big businesses. So let's just look for a minute. If Walmart puts an order in to a supplier, and also a smaller business like a convenience store puts in an order to a supplier, okay? That smaller business is going to buy in much smaller quantities. So if I'm the supplier, do I want to load a truck up and drive to one location, Walmart, empty it out, and come back and load it up again? Or do I want to, you've got one business here that's going to load the truck up to 20% capacity, and then I'm going to have to wait until there's 3 or 4 more smaller businesses to place orders, load my truck up to 80 to 100% capacity, send that truck out, and that truck is going to have to stop at point A. The driver's going to have to wait till it's unloaded, then it's going to have to crank up and go B to C and thenceforth on. And so that's going to cost more money to do that. And so as the supplier, I'm going to want to fill that truck up once and be done with it. Since that's advantageous to the supplier, they're willing to give a discount to the big businesses. Now that sounds like I'm justifying it. No, I'm telling you the truth of the matter of what actually happens. They're thinking. Everybody's motivated by self-interest and making a profit. Okay, it's your guys that's listening, guys and girls, to determine if the big business is taking advantage. So, in a court of law, in this antitrust lawsuit cases, the prosecutor is saying that the big business is using their might, their power, and they're forcing these suppliers, okay? So these suppliers are saying, we'd like to know ahead of time what our orders are going to be, okay? Why is that? Well, guess what? If you get unpredictable orders in, and you don't know when and where those orders are going to come in, you may have to lay people off. If you have to lay workers off, that's never a good thing, because it's harder for them workers to want to come back to a supplier that has a history of laying people off. If those people don't come back when the small businesses order something, and now you're having to bring everybody back, what if they don't come back, okay? Then you have to go out and you have to train new employees. That is time consuming and it costs more, okay? You have to have a high enough salary to bring people in, because remember, you already have a history of knowing that you lay people off. Also, when you bring someone in for a high salary and they're untrained, it costs money to train them, okay? Hopefully they will get their efficiency up to par. But under unpredictable orders is what you're going to get a lot of times with the small business, or they wait to the last minute. Remember, a lot of these goods at the small business are perishable, or some of them don't sell as quickly and as fast, so they have to wait to put their order in. Now, once again, I want to keep saying this. I'm not persuading you, okay, because there may be something I don't know about small businesses, or there may be something I'm missing here. This video is not persuade you, it is to say, hey, let's all talk about this and try to figure this out. So we talked about why suppliers do what they do. So, in 1940, Morton Salt was prosecuted by the government, antitrust lawsuit against them, because at the time they were giving a discount. The supplier, Morton Salt, was giving a discount to the retailer, the big business, saying, hey, we're going to cut your salt prices 20 cents per pound less if you buy by the carload or the caseload in bulk. And so it was hurting the small business. The small business could not buy that much salt. And it was hurting competition, meaning that some competitors was falling out of the market. And it was the government's rationale that when Morton Salt cornered the market, when it eliminated all this competition, it would become a monopoly, and then it would raise its prices back up. All right, so what's your opinion of the 1940s Morton Salt case? The Federal Standards Commission said that it was injuring competition. What Morton Salt was doing was injuring. Morton Salt was basically selling their product for $1.60 a pound. But to the big business, they was giving them a discount to $1.40. Now, let's move on to another example. All right, we got the Standard Oil Company that would sell for cheaper by the tank car. And once again, the government came in and says, you are injuring. The Federal Standards Commission, which is part of the government intervention or interference, stated that, and the Supreme Court upheld it, saying that the Supreme Court basically said this: you were injuring competition in the market, thus hurting the consumer. Remember this, it's always been the thought that the big business was going to decimate all competition and then raise their prices. All right, that's something futuristic. All right, what I want to ask right now: should we be caught up with self-interest, the consumer, us, into what's going on in the now, or what may go on in the future if the big business becomes a monopoly? That is a dilemma for me. Now, another example, the last example I will close with this, is the Borden. Borden was selling their milk products and their milk for discount if you buy it in bulk. And then the big grocery stores like A&P, we talked about A&P in the first video. A&P was accepting this cheaper price because it could buy in bulk. Remember, A&P was the largest grocery chain. Here's something to take in. If it's advantageous to you, and it's also advantageous to me, then it's a business deal that we want to participate in. Is the supplier taking advantage of the big business, the predictable orders and the buying in bulk? And then is the big business having an advantage of buying it for cheaper prices? And so we looked at Morton Salt, we looked at Borden, and we looked at Standard Oil. Now, for time purposes, I don't want to get into more than that. I will in future videos. The next video, we're going to talk about Microsoft and how it was across these, it was prosecuted and it was found guilty of antitrust lawsuits.